Hi YouTube, it's Rochelle. I want to do a video especially dedicated to the parents and family of transgendered individuals. So moms, dads and family members, if you could gather around. I know you've got busy lives, but what I have to say is important and it could change your life and the life of your child. Gender dysphoria is a diagnosed condition. It's probably one of the worst conditions. It affects you mentally, it affects you physically. It basically turns your life upside down. Being transgender is not a choice. It's not a fun thing, it's not a trend, it's not a phase that we go through. It's a real thing. It's something quite serious. And I don't think people take it seriously enough. If you look at the statistics, 41% of transgendered people attempt suicide. It's a calculated and proven fact. It's a reality. Being transgender is not socially acceptable. We know this. It hasn't been since the beginning of time. But yet there has been transgendered individuals since the beginning of time. It's not a new thing. It's been around for thousands of years. It's been in every culture known to man. Not just one. Every culture known to man has transgendered individuals in it. It's a real thing. It's not a joke. It's real. And it's time people started to take this thing seriously. Okay, so now you know a bit of the background of it. I, if you don't know, am a transgendered individual myself. I lived for 37 years as my assigned gender at birth. I tried very hard to live a normal life. But the older I got, the worse the dysphoria got. Until I couldn't handle it anymore. I started to break down mentally. My health deteriorated. And I ended up being one of the 41% statistic. It's a reality. Sorry, I get a bit emotional speaking about this. Of course, I know how much it hurts. I've walked in those shoes. I've been there. I've walked the line. I know how difficult it is to try and live a life that doesn't feel right, to try and be someone who you're not. And only a transgendered person will be able to describe these feelings. If you don't suffer from gender dysphoria, you're not going to know what it feels like. And I know the first thing you are going to say is, yeah, you understand, but you don't. Unless you're going through it, you're not going to know. And that's the point I'm trying to make. You need to look at your child. You need to take a deep look at them and see how they are suffering. They suffer because they don't feel right. They suffer. Because they don't fit in. It doesn't feel right. Something is wrong. I don't know how to even describe it. A cisgendered person won't understand it. They just won't. Not even psychologists or psychiatrists fully understand the impact and the hurt of gender dysphoria. It is so difficult. So, while you're sitting down and while you are listening to this, there is a few things that I need to say to you. I am a parent myself, and I love my children. I really, really love my children with all of my heart. I will do anything for them, absolutely anything, to make sure that they are okay. Anything. I beg of you, if you have a transgender child or a gender non-conforming child, sit down with them, speak to them, ask them how they're feeling. Show them that you are there for them. Show them that you are a parent, that you're looking after their best interests. Don't worry about society's normals and religion and everything else. Don't worry about it. Your key focus in life is to make sure your children are okay. Having a child with gender dysphoria and doing nothing about it, it's probably the worst thing that you could ever do. Literally, you are killing your child. Take it as it is. That's a fact. Sit down with them, speak to them. Get to know how they're feeling. Communicate. Be open. Do research. Go on the internet. Internet is a lovely tool. There's so much information on it. You can find out anything from how to deal with having a gender non-conforming child or a transgender child to how to fix your washing machine. I mean, the internet is a wonderful tool. Hence why I'm making a video like this, to educate and to help people. I myself did not have help. I had to do things the hard way. And I learned from it. And I don't want to see another individual have to suffer like I did. It's not fair on them. It's not fair on you having to go through that, having to see your child suffer, having to see themselves cry themselves to sleep at night, every night, having them wake up in the morning, look in the mirror and hate themselves. You don't want to see that. As a parent, I don't want to see that. It'll break my heart. Do your research. Go on the internet. Look at the symptoms. Look out for the symptoms. Speak to your child. If you see the symptoms, your child's not happy, and they confront you about it, don't just shrug it off. Do something about it. Take them to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Give them the help they need. Because one morning, you might wake up and it's too late. They're not there anymore. Then you're going to spend the rest of your life thinking, I should have done this. I should have done that. I should have got them the help. I personally know families who have lost a child due to suicide. due to them not helping their child. Those families are broken. Those parents are broken people. It's shocking, yes. I know it's not what you want to hear. And I don't want to speak about it. Because it hurts me. It hurts me talking about it. It hurts me thinking about it. But it has to be said. Especially here in South Africa. Everyone's old school. Everyone thinks, back in the days, this is not acceptable. That's not acceptable, This is not socially acceptable. We're not living in the Stone Age. We're living in a world where possibilities exist. I mean, when you were young in the comic books, you used to read about flying cars. And you used to go, yeah, that'll never happen. Go look, they're on the market. You can buy a flying car. Things change. People change. Education changes. Social stigma changes. The world changes. Doesn't stay the same. 50 years ago, things were nowhere near what they are like today. 5 years from now, things are not going to be like they are today. You need to understand that. Having a transgender or gender non-conforming child is not the end of the world. It's not going to kill you. You are not going to be ostracized from your relatives and friends. You are not going to be ostracized from organizations and schools. 30 years ago, yes, maybe, because it was not socially acceptable then. It's a bit more socially acceptable now, but it's not quite there yet. And the only people that can change that is people like us and you as parents and as family. I'm sorry if I come off very forward and straight, but this has to be said. It's time to put your pride and your status in your pocket. Turn around and look at your child. And look at your child's best interests. Put them first for once. Because tomorrow they might not be there. If I can save one person, just one person, by doing this video, to help one person get the help that they need. One person, just one, that their parents, like you, can turn around to them and say, we love you, we want to help you. From a parent to another parent, I'm begging you, please, don't let your child suffer like I did. Please. With tears in my eyes, please, help your child. Don't let them suffer. You might not understand it. Go with them to the psychiatrist and psychologists. Go with him to the group meetings. Meet other transgender and gender non-conforming people. They will probably be the most honest and down-to-earth people you'll ever meet. They're fantastic people, especially when they're in transition, where they're at a stage where they are happy with themselves, where they're at a stage where they are happy with the way that they look, they're happy with the way that they feel inside, they're happy with themselves. You will see your child blossom and grow into one of the most fantastic people. Because living an authentic life is probably one of the most rewarding feelings that anyone can ever have. I've been living as a transgendered individual now for 16 months. I came out 16 months ago. I started hormone replacement therapy 13 months ago. And I'm completely in a different place to where I was. I look forward to getting up in the morning. I look forward to going outside and looking at the beautiful sky and the green grass. Only now am I beginning to enjoy my life. I'm beginning to enjoy people. I'm beginning to enjoy things around me, which I've never done before, because I've never felt right. There's always been this feeling that something's wrong, something doesn't fit, something, it's just a terrible feeling. And to be able to wake up in the morning and live your life happy, not depressed, wanting to meet people, wanting to have friends, wanting to spend time with family, wanting that, not being forced to be someone that you're not being forced to live a lie, not being forced to be someone who you are not. People come out at different stages of life. Some people transition when they're 3-4 years old. Some people transition when they're 55 years old. Doesn't matter the age. It matters how that person feels, and when that person is strong enough and ready to come out. When your child comes out to you and sits you down and says, Mom, Dad, or Mom or Dad, I need to tell you something. That moment for them is probably one of the hardest things they will ever do in their life. I know how hard it is, because I've had to do it. It's probably the hardest thing for them to say to a loved one. And I know, as a parent, it is the most difficult thing for you to hear. Because from when you hear that, there's 20 billion things going through your mind. You think it will turn your life totally upside down, inside out. You think it'll ruin everything. But, in fact, it doesn't. It takes a lot of work, a lot of emotions, a lot of understanding, and a lot of time. It takes time to process all of this. It takes time to deal with it. Transition for a transgendered person isn't only about them. It's about the people around them and their families. Transitioning is just as hard for the parents and family of a transgendered individual as it is for that individual who is transitioning. And let me give you another fact. If your child is transgender, one way or another, you are going to lose that child. Whether it be through suicide or whether it through be transition. The child that you know, you are going to lose them. Fact. You don't have a choice in that. That is how it is. You are going to lose that person. If not by suicide, by transition. Because when you transition, you change from what you were to live your life authentically, which is quite a big change. You're not the same person. You're much happier, you're much better. And you need to understand that. You don't have a choice. You're going to lose that person. The choice you have got is whether you want to accept that new person in your life. That is the choice you have got. That is a choice only you can make. No one can force you to do that. Nobody can. That is your choice. That is a choice for you and you alone to make. But I promise you, if you accept that person, you will see a change for the better. You will see a better person coming out. You will see a happier person. You will see a more well-adjusted person. You will see a better person in society. I can guarantee that. And I know it's hard. And I know you don't want to think about it. And I know you don't want to talk about it. But you need to. If you have a transgender or gender non-conforming person in your family, don't throw them away. It's probably the worst thing that you can do. If you suspect that one of your family members could be transgender or gender non-conforming, don't ignore them. Don't write them off. Talk to them. Communicate with them. Find out what's going on. If you have a child that is depressed, doesn't want to get out of bed, is not functioning, there's a problem. And you as a parent and a family member, it's your duty to help that person, no matter what it is. If it's a mental issue, if it's a physical issue, if it's health related, no matter what it is, your duty as a parent and as a family member is to help that person. So that is what it's about. My family, I'll give you a good example. I've had a 50-50. Half of my family is accepting, the other half is not. And I'm fine with it. Because it's not a choice that I can make. It's a choice that they make. It's sad, but it is a choice that they make. But even though they don't support me and they don't want to be involved in my life, they still helped me. They still helped me get the help that I needed. They still supported me in that aspect. And that is what is important. Help your children when they need to be helped. Help them help themselves. Because it's hard doing it on your own. It's difficult. I only started receiving support halfway through my transition. In the beginning, I was on my own. I had to do it on my own. And it was hard. And I wouldn't want to see anyone else do it on their own either. It's difficult. It's very difficult. You've got to be so strong. You've got to be so strong. But I think I have said enough about the subject, and I hope that I have conveyed the message. I know it's not something that you want to hear or you want to deal with, but you need to. You need to make sure that your child is okay. That's the main thing. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. The proverbial ball is in your court. I trust that you will make the right decision when the time comes, and you'll follow through with it. So from Rochelle, thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe for more updates. And as all my other videos, I end off with my cue card saying, be true to yourself and others around you. Love you all.